as he joined us today. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it as we're getting ready to have some fun here on 100 Yards of Football. Before we get to Coach London, I want to bring up my two co-hosts who's been with me over the past month, and they have done an outstanding job. And when I say they're very talented, I couldn't be more blessed and honored. Let me bring up the first man. He's out of North Clayton, Metro Atlanta area, one of the top high school coaches in all of high school football here in the state of Georgia. He's coached at Riverdale, Mount Zion, Lovejoy. I call him football extraordinaire, Mr. Kevin Bull Jones. And the second gentleman, what more can I say? He played at a high level. He was the best defensive back in the 1979 season in the nation from Florida State University. First round pick in the 1981 draft, 25th selection overall, of the Atlanta Falcons, Mr. Bobby Butler. So if you like the video today, please come in and share it as we got our special guest, head football coach of William & Mary, Mr. Mike London. So let's get this party started as I turn it over to the Bull man, Mr. Kevin Jones. You got the floor, Kevin.
All right, glad to have you, Mike, on the show today. You know, seeing it now that everyone is at home, I know what it's like for me as a high school coach. You know, going through my daily rigors of the day or my new normal. What I'd like to know is for you, being the head of William & Mary football program, give us a quick overview of how your daily Monday would go.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on the show, 100 Yards of Football. I went back and watched a bunch of past episodes, and I tell you what, you guys are on point in a lot of things and very informative. And it's just great to know that even though we're dealing with these unprecedented times, that there's still ways to get out content. There's still ways to talk about football, talk about accomplishments, achievements, embrace the fact that we are living in, you know, this pandemic, but at the same time, you can talk about success stories, overcoming adversity. And as I listen to the different shows, as you guys get ready for the draft and the personal stories associated with that, it was awesome. So, so I appreciate the opportunity. You know, I've been doing this for a while, and this is something that's, as we all know, has never happened. And what you have to deal with when you have 100+ players is you have to deal with their mental health, mental wealth, their psyche, and all those things. And so the first thing you want to make sure is that, because remember, a lot of these kids come from areas where they want to get away from home. Right. And now they're back at those areas where they wanted to get away from originally. And so what you have to deal with, even though you're not there personally, is how they're functioning, because now their parents or their home life situation becomes part of their issue as well. So the mental wealth, mental health is I'm critically, I always talk about those things because it's something that is not talked about as much. People reaching out for help, calling an individual or individuals that can, help them make decisions, even when they're in the throes of making a passionate decision and all those things. So your question specific to football, Bull, is that, I tell the guys that, Zoom has probably become one of the most important things out there. But what they don't know is that the original Zoom was from the Commodores and Lionel Richie. Into the real Zoom, they're like, Coach, Zach, what are you talking about Zoom? So Zoom is something that's now how we communicate. So we have staff meetings. I've had one-on-one player meetings. We were one of the few teams that was able to have spring practice. We had spring practice actually start when they came back from their winter break. So we didn't run into the spring schedules that conflict. Our stadium, Zabel Stadium, is a great stadium, but we also have a track team that has great track meets there. And so sometimes there's conflicts. We have a grass fields where we practice, and track in the stadium where we practice. And sometimes that came into a little bit of a conflict. But I wanted to make sure we got all that done. So we were able to have our practices. We were able to have film to, when we start talking about having these meetings with the players, to critique what they've done, how they've done, and the expectations of their improvement. So our process has been not only through the film and teaching, finding out about their mental health and wellness, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do with this digital online learning. All those things are encapsulated into the expectation of a student athlete at William & Mary. And, having the ability to finish spring practice and having that film to show them in unit meetings and larger meetings has been priceless for us.
I find that, with a family of 6 kids, 4 girls, 2 boys, us both having large families and my kids home from college. I found out something that I knew I wasn't Coach Jones at home, but it's funny how my new normal of trying to find the places to be and what to do and the honey-do list has increased. So expound, if you will, because, I called you a couple of times when you was at the store. So can you expound on where that fits for you? Because my honey-do list increased so much. And I'm afraid to say how big it is now.
Hey, we got to be careful because my wife is watching too. She's online watching. Love you, honey. Love you, boo. So but you're right. The honey-do list consisted of, can you get on top of the roof and fix a loose shingle? A loose shingle on top of the roof. It's a 3-story house. And so, the doctors are saying, don't come to the hospital with unnecessary stuff. So if you're emergency, lay on your back and be like, all right, I get there when I can get there. But she had me doing all kind of stuff. But I would say the one thing that brings into focus is the fact that, the standards for my team have always been faith, family, and football. Faith is being tried and tested as we go through this pandemic. Family is something that's very important to me. As you said, having 7 kids, my daughters. Matter of fact, Bull, today is the 17th anniversary of the year that I gave my bone marrow to my daughter Tyson at Johns Hopkins Hospital and saved her life. And she's doing well. She's getting her master's degree at Lynchburg College. And so, God is good from the standpoint of with all this going on, there's still some things that are going on that says, you know what, man, this thing is, he's in control and this thing is powerful. So, I had to bring that up because that's part of the family part of what's happening. And then I played Uno with the kids the other night. We were playing, they got a new version of Uno where you can go reverse, flip the cards, all this kind of stuff. I was playing Uno like I was playing dominoes. Like, how you think about that? I know I need to calm down because I'm trying to be, head coach here, but you're playing the father role, man. It's like, all the emotions come out. You're loving what's happening. Who would have thought in our business, coaching, ripping and running, that a simple card game could bring joy and laughter. And so you find out, you revisit those emotions and feelings that are important.
Wow. Well, that's well said. And of course, you're speaking about 17 years to the day,
Yes.
Donating and being a bone marrow donator to your daughter. It gets me kind of choked up, man, because when we talk about our children, we're in a business where we look after somebody else's children. And especially for you, when you go into that home to recruit those kids, you tell those parents, I'm going to monitor this, that, and the other. And it's so profound you mentioned that, because my wife said to me, you get time to be with the kids now. You get time to do the little things at home with your kids. I can't tell you how many walks we've gone on. I don't know how much weight I've lost because every time I leave the town, I gave you. But at the end of the day, that time you have with your family is so precious. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted you to come on the show so bad, because everybody, there isn't a whole lot of football to talk about right now, but there's a whole lot of living to talk about right now.
Absolutely.
And relationships and being able to laugh on the back deck and sometimes just watch the grass grow. And it was just so funny when I called you, because I had just left the store. My wife sent me to the store, and I think I spent a little too much time in there. I really didn't know what I was looking for, but I played it off. And during that playing it off time, I decided to call you and found out you had just left the store. So it just means a lot for you to be able to come on the show and just talk about what it's like, the new normal about, living at home, being at home. And the amazing part about it is this is the time when your coaches would usually be on the road, and going all over the place. So to have those coaches on Zoom, and that was great. I forgot about Zoom and the Commodore. Now to watch the conversations, now you get a chance to be at home. I don't know how to play Uno. I guess I'm going to have to find out because my wife is listening too. So I'm sure she's going to make me break out the Uno cards real soon. And I wanted to be able to just talk to you about those types of things. One thing I wanted to mention is at the end of the day, how do you address those coaches and keeping them fresh and on point, because it is a big adjustment for them as well. It's one for all of us, but how do you bring them together in these times?
Yeah, that's a great question. It goes back to, even, for Bobby and Vincent and yourself, keeping our mental health and wealth on point, getting out, being able to have a chance to exercise and walk around and see what's going on. We did this thing where our players were doing an exercise, and I had guys pushing cars and doing the rope thing and all that. I was doing Navy SEAL planks with my Bernese Mountain Dogs climbing all over me, but we would say, tag, you're it. And we would send them to our fellow teammates and coaches. And so we all understand some of us don't have the weight room with the weights, but you can be creative in some of the things that you're doing. And like, we had a guy that was bench pressing a lot of weight, and his little sister was with him, and he was at a wide angle shot. And then when the camera narrowed closer, his sister got up under the bench and started doing the same weight. But we all know that through trickery, if that's a word, of the camera, they took the weight off the sides of the bench. But the fact that she got up and lifted and then went like so. We tried to bring some levity to a situation, as we all know, that's profoundly serious. But it's okay to laugh. It's okay to joke. It's okay to do some things that are important. My favorite movie is called Shawshank Redemption. It's a great movie, but the phrase in that is true to form is like, get busy living. There's a lot of things that are going on, but get busy living. Like, my grandmother just passed away last week, and 98 years old. And, she was cutting her own grass and stuff like that. And, we've honored her, and we're going to do that when we have a chance to get the entire family around to do it the right way with the memorial, because now with the stipulations of not being able to get out and no more than 10, get busy living. And so as we deal with the coaches, see, we have coaches, we got single coaches, we got coaches that have kids. And so the perspective and the perception, sometimes it gets all, mangled together. A coach that's single can say, let's meet at this time. Let's Zoom it here. We're going to watch recruiting tape. We're going to let's watch some of the cut-ups in it. But he's not cognizant of the fact that the coach is at home with his wife and his 3 or 4 kids, and maybe the newborn is like, you're on their schedule. If you walk up in the room and close your door and let your wife deal with all those 4 kids and the crying baby, dude, you're gonna be in trouble. So it's important that we all understand that we're all coming from different places. And then if we can build in some opportunities to evaluate tape, we're gonna have I do a Zoom meeting on Friday where I interview potential candidates. I still do that, but I set it aside from family time or those times that I know that the kids might be doing some things. I got some college age kids that are taking online classes now, and there's a certain time in the morning that I can't be talking to my staff like, let's go, baby. And I get a boo, 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 boo. Dad, making too much noise. Professor Snodgrass is trying to teach me something, and you making too much noise. So I have to be cognizant of the fact that there are other things going on. So when you put all those things in there together and you kind of find that plan that best works for everyone, not just one who doesn't have kids or one who has kids, you just got to be mindful. And I guess the word more than anything else is empathy. Individuals have to have empathy for one another. There are people living in close urban areas that are suffering. There's people in rural areas, but it's just we have to understand there's things that are going on. And when you're having these type meetings and these, checking on players,
Yeah.
you got to know that there's some stuff that's going on in their own household or they're being affected by.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean to get all. I know we're doing the show, but I don't mean part of this energy and stuff like that is because I've been aching to talk football with other people other than the staff.
Well, definitely, Mike. I wanted to enlighten the viewers that, especially on our end, on the coaching part, on mine on the high school year, on the collegiate level, there is a part to this that I got to find my way to maneuver around. And, I have a family here. And then I picked up a new family with Bobby and Vincent. It's wonderful with 100 yards and sports football talk. And it has added to brighten my day. And that's one of those things because at the end of the day, we're taking away from what we usually do and how we do it. So I'm begging for the chance to do as much football talk and breaking down film as much as possible. I could watch film on Bobby for the rest of the day. I probably will. But, and Bobby, that leads to you giving some questions to Mike as well, because, Mike is definitely, he's in the trenches just like us, because the honeydew list on my end, while I'm talking, I'm still on the clock.
Well, I tell you, that honeydew list will not stop. And Coach London, since you're home, welcome to the club.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, Coach, I looked up a little stuff on you and found out that you were a defensive coordinator down at Virginia at one time under Al Groh. And Coach Al Groh was on the staff with the Falcons a few times when I was there many moons ago. So he's a great guy. Yes. Let me ask you a question from a defensive standpoint, right? I want to get down to some football, right? You changed the culture at Virginia on the defensive side of the ball. What did you do that was different? You played a more of an aggressive style of defense, right? You went after the quarterback. Explain your style of defense.
Well, Bobby, as you know, if you've been under the Coach Groh system, who's been under the Bill Parcells system, who collaborated also with Bill Belichick, then you know that 3-4 system is something that to me it's kind of like a linebacker's defense because we played a true two-gap defense with the nose tackles and the 4 techniques, and then the outside backers were our dudes, man. They were our guys. The inside backers as well. But the ability to drop 8, to rush off one side, to rush, both outside backers, to do games with, outside backer and the nose tackle wrapping around. To us, it always allowed us, and being a 3-4, it allowed us to adjust to whatever the formations were. A lot of times if teams shift a tight end, in a 3-4 system, sometimes you got to recheck the front. And you got guys moving up front. In a 3-4 system, hey, we're going to stay balanced, and we're going to trigger whether the guy that was dropping is now going to rush, the guy that was rushing is now going to drop. The safeties, they made calls based on run support and pass coverage responsibility. So we were able to bring different packages. Coach Groh was excellent at bringing, constructing different packages based on offensive formations and the protections. We talk about any defense, particularly a 3-4 defense. Teams have to decide how they're going to protect. If they're going to slide out to a tackle out to the open, to the stand-up linebacker, and the guard has to block the 4 technique, or they're going to go man on man and let the running back block the end man on line of scrimmage, or they're going to dual read the guard who's uncovered most of the time. So he was excellent at devising schemes to rush the passer, because most programs want to make it real simple, whether it's all slide or all big on big. We did a lot of things, and we had a goal 36 sacks, 36 turnovers, and we did that one year just based on having some guys coming from different angles. So Vince Brown, who's my defensive coordinator, by the way, Vince, he's doing a fantastic job. He was with me at Richmond when we won the national championship. He was with me at Virginia. He was with me at Howard. And now he's a D coordinator at William & Mary. He's done a great job for us. But he played in that Parcells system, the New England Patriots system. Chris Slade, all those guys all
those guys, right?
So it's been it's something that we will continue to keep doing. We just had one of our players, Bill Murray, signed a free agent contract with the Patriots. They didn't take any other D linemen, so he's got a excellent shot to play in a defense that he's been coached at. Right? My defensive line coach, Keenan Carter, played in the system, the schemes itself. So as you know, Bobby, it's just getting the right people in the right position, and for us, the 3-4 was a great defense for us.
I tell you, it's a great defense with the right personnel, Coach, and I'm telling you, during my time in the league, of course, they had LT, Carl Banks, Harry Reasoner, all those guys up in New York playing their defense, man. Nobody could stand a chance. Great personnel, great system, great scheme. Well, listen, I applaud you, man. I didn't know Vincent Brown was on your staff.
Yeah, Vincent, he's doing a great. His Mississippi Valley. He went to school, and his nickname was the Undertaker because he put cats to sleep. So
well, you know what? Vincent Brown and Jesse Tuggle are the same person.
Oh, good to know.
Wow.
Hey,
and so you got the hammer.
Hold on.
You got the hammer.
That down,
you
right,
got the Undertaker.
All right.
You got the hammer and the Undertaker. Two
Okay.
great linebackers. Matter of fact, I coached his son in basketball when he was about 7, 8 years old.
Did you? All right.
Yeah.
It's a small world, man. It's a small world.
Small world. Well, good, Coach. Now, one of the things that when you talk about your coaches, and I was just explaining not long ago to Vincent and Coach Jones how Coach Bowden talked about his key to success. And his key to success, Coach, was the assistant coaches that he had around him, right? And so speak to that. I know you talk about some of your guys, but just speak to that. The guys that you hire, your assistant coaches.
Wow. Thanks, Bobby. That's a great question that talks about culture and things like that. If you can find guys that buy in or that believe in, for me, it's always been faith, family, and football.
Amen.
I was a police officer in the city of Richmond. I had a gun pulled on me, trigger pulled, didn't go off. I'm still sitting here talking to you guys. Nothing but God. The bone marrow miracle with my daughter Tyson. Doctor said the odds were 10,000 to 1 that a parent could be a perfect match for their own child. So you talk about trying to find like-minded people, and if you can find guys, I remember Coach Grote when I probably checked off every box there is in coaching, from camp director, recruiting coordinator, all that stuff like that. When I left Virginia to go to the Houston Texans, to coach the D-line with Dom Capers, Al Golden was coaching at Temple, I believe. He left to go to coach at Temple. But anyway, Coach Grove brought me back as a defensive coordinator. He said, listen, I won't let you fail. I'll never, ever forget that a head coach told me as an assistant that he won't let me fail. And to me, that's the job of a head coach is for his assistants, is to do things, put them in position, promote them, talk about how ways they can get better, and put them in positions where they can be successful. And that's part of it. If you find a guy, I remember I told Coach Grove, I didn't mind being Tonto to the Long Ranger. And you think about that. That's one of those things, Coach. I will do whatever I need to do to make you look good. That's all I'm worried about. Because if you look good, everybody else will look good. Amen. Bobby, we live in a day and time, that human nature is to put yourself out there. Right. I'd rather be humble voluntarily than involuntarily. And be around people that are like, Coach, I'll be Bruce Wayne to your Batman. I'll be whatever it is, that you need me to be. Because, and then as a head coach, it's my responsibility to find those jobs. Hey, I'm going to name you co-coordinator. Hey, I'm going to, you're going to be assistant camp director because I want you to learn how to work the books and things like that. Put them in positions where they can flourish and they can learn. And then you'll have guys that want to coach and be those, and be the standard bearers as well. So that's key to me, is finding like-minded people. The staff that I have now, Rossai Dallin played at Virginia, but he was a second-round pick for the New England Patriots. Keenan Carter, I coached at Virginia when I was a D coordinator, nose tackle, played in the league a little bit. All the guys that are with us, My son is on the staff coaching the wide receivers. So you're talking about that extended family having a chance to, only problem is every once in a while I'll be like, hey, Dad. Like, no, hey, no, dude, no, it's coach. Let me call me Dad at work and stuff like that. He's good. He's good with that now, but he's done a fantastic job. And so the makeup of the staff, Christian Taylor, we just hired him. He's an offensive coordinator from University of San Diego, who was tops in the league in scoring, yards per game. It's just phenomenal. Gordy Samus, just a whole bunch of guys. Matt Johns. So surrounding yourself with good people that said, Coach, I'll do the best job that I can be. And I would say one last thing. If you are a position coach and you're in charge of equipment, you're in charge of, you're the co-coordinator, whatever it is, be the head coach of that position. Be the head coach of that responsibility. Take it upon yourself to make sure that you come up with solutions that don't be a negative vampire, a negative energy guy. Head coaches want to find guys that can help them. So if whatever responsibility, you got the film, if you're running after the kickoff, if you're running out to get the tee and you're bringing it back to the sideline, be really good at that. Run out there and get it, hustle, and bring it back to the sideline and take some pride in that. That's the kind of thing that a low tide raises, a high tide raises all boats, and finding people just want to say, how can I be a part of this? So I'm sorry for the long-winded answer, but that's my answer. I'm sticking to it.
Well, one last thing, Vince. I don't know how we're on time, but I got to get one thing in with you, Coach. I'm going to give you a nugget. I got to give you a nugget before I leave.
All right.
Thank you for coming on, but I got to give you something. Now, I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
How many Florida kids you got on that roster?
Now, first year now. All right, so I just got in my first year now. We plan on getting quite a few more. My time at Howard, we had a great wide receiver at Howard that was from Florida. A lot of really good kids that have the kind of like-mindedness of being a student athlete at William & Mary. I'll go anywhere to get players. I'll go anywhere, and I know that I know that you're proud of the state of Florida and the kind of student athletes they bring out, and we are committed to building our roster of the kind of kids that can go up and win championships for you.
Absolutely. All right, I'm good now.
Okay, well, Coach London.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take you back in time to your early years.
Oh man!
But before we get started, man, you got some history together, and you don't even know. I'm gonna give you some hints now. January the 9th, 1914. Leonard F. Morris, Charles I. Brown, and A. Langston Taylor.
Bloop, bloop.
That's what I'm saying. I don't have to go.
Oh man, I wish I would have known that.
I don't have to go no farther, boy.
Huh?
I don't have to go no farther.
No. What was your line name?
Main Peen, 1980, University of Arkansas, 17 deep.
Man. Hey, I had to change my line's name because they called me Vincent. And I said, no, man, I don't want to be. And back in the day, that was when Vincent was a Butler. I was like, no, I ain't doing that. No. So I changed my name to Unze Slow Journey. That's what I changed it to. So.
And that's what I like, because it's something about being a Sigma man.
Man.
We're all about being real, baby.
Service for humanity.
Yes, sir. And we don't need the spotlight. We're going to do our job.
I tell you what,
time in your childhood.
Man, that was, you know what? Having the opportunity to go to Howard, leaving Maryland, going to Howard, my first day there, I was walking on Howard's campus, and to see the Divine Nine and things like that, where things started from, man, it just brought back just memories of being proud of being an African-American male. And I happen to be the head coach at a prestigious university there, and knowing that I can go to any other university, that I've been the first African-American head coach at all the other ones that I've been. And I can hold my head up in pride and do the work that people can say, you know what, we appreciate your efforts. You're a good person. You're a good coach. And thank you for doing what you do for our programs. That's a must for me, is to be able to give back and just acknowledge that, my early beginnings, as you said, Vincent, learning a lot of things from a lot of good people in the history of our prestigious fraternity, have life lessons that have been with me always.
Amen. Now to start with your heroes when you was a young guy out of Hampton, Virginia. Tommy Redman. Hello.
Reman.
Johnny Sample. Hello.
Yeah.
Johnny Sample.
Your high school, Bethel.
Yes.
Jerry Holmes.
Oh, my goodness. Yes.
John Gale. Deep.
Yes.
Ohio State Buckeyes.
Ohio State. Yes.
Allen Iverson.
Yes.
My man, Todd Kelly. That played at the University of Tennessee.
Definitely.
Jimmy Williams, Virginia Tech.
Quarterback. Yeah.
Athlete. Your playing days when you was at Richmond. When you was the star on the defensive side. Talk about your relationship with that young man that went number 1 in 82. He was a stud at the running back position. Barry Redman.
Yes, sir.
Talk about him a little bit.
Man.
Talk about him a little bit.
I tell you what, he would run over you like this. Like he would just run over you like and dare you to get up. But Barry wouldn't talk, man. Remember back then you could be a strength team All-American as well as a football. He was one of those guys perennially, year after year.
Wow.
And then talk about my team, the Dallas Cowboys. You was on that 83 roster.
How about that? Coach
wide receiver out of Stanford. Ron Fellows.
Yes.
Downs. Dexter Clinkscale. Evan Walls.
DB, great player.
Talk about being on that team in 83 when it was America's team, baby.
Man, I tell you what, my mama loves me because that's her favorite team as well, man. And it's like, wow, that's some awesome stuff, Vincent. I mean, you went back in the record books on that one, man. It's
hey, man, you family, blue and white, baby. We gotta make each other look good. Some people not understanding.
I love it.
That stigma, man.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
And then I want to know about your coaching, man. You coach some studs too. Let's talk about Chris Long.
First round, the second pick of the 2008 draft. I was in the green room with him, sitting right there with him, man. What an honor to be sitting in there with his dad, Howie Long, the Hall of Famer, his mom Diane, Coach Grove was there, and Chris brought his high school coach. So the three of us were sitting in the room, the green room, and it was like, why don't you call it the green room? Dad, the green room. Matt Ryan was in that room as well, the Atlanta Falcons. So it was awesome, man, for Chris to extend that opportunity for me to sit in there and watch all those guys, live their lifelong dream.
And then when you was at Howard, talk about us, you coaching Cam, little brother, and the season he had under you.
Kalen Newton, yes. Bow-legged as I don't know what, man, but he had a heart of a champion, and I don't know where he's going to end up. I know that with all this stuff that's going on, players are trying to find homes, but I'm wishing him much success.
And I heard through the grapevine because I did some research, and right now with your women married team, you got a stud at the quarterback position out of Pittsburgh. Outstanding freshman last year. Hollis Mathis, the might be in the league.
He's a great young man.
I heard he's a stud. Talk about him a little bit.
Nah, he's stirred the straw, the straw that stirs the drink, man. He's a guy that is a great. He was on the honor roll, academically. He's on our leadership council, and obviously he was a CAA freshman player of the week 2 times. And so he's going to be a force to reckon with. When we have prayerfully we have a season that resumes. But more than anything else, he's a great, great young man.
With that being said, let me say this: the final words for you today, Coach Bull Jones. Final words on the man, the legend, the Sigma man, head coach Mike London.
Well, not only is he a great friend, he's a great mentor for me. We go back long ways, and a lot of our conversations have nothing to do with football. It's about life. And for me as a young coach, him mentioning those same things about the progression and what's important. And he's been the same guy all the time. Great father, a great coach. And he doesn't realize it, but we on we on the national scene now, so I can go ahead and tell them, the 3-4 defense, the thing that I've been known for down here in Atlanta, Metro Atlanta area. It came from being being up there with Mike and one of his mentors, Jim Reed, was the person that gave me the clues and the how and whys to run that type of defense. So, it came from my time up in Virginia with Mike and his staff. And also, profound thing when Mike became the head coach at University of Virginia, I saw Vincent Brown there. And just 3 years earlier, I had seen Vincent Brown coaching at Middle Creek High School, where they hadn't won a game in probably about 5 years. And he was the defensive coordinator. And I'm going, I can't believe this. How did you go from Meadow Creek High School in Gwinnett County to here? And one profound thing that he said that still resounds to this day, he said, I was a good steward over someone else's blessing. And that kind of echoes and piggybacks on what Mike is talking about being a good steward as an assistant coach over someone else's blessing. It's something that I tried to emulate. That's why I had the success at Lovejoy. I worked at it for a great man, Al Hughes, here in the Metro Atlanta area. And we had a great 3-year run where we were 38-4. And that's almost not even heard of today. But just the relationships and the lessons I've learned from Mike, I appreciate you coming on the show. And it's amazing that, Bobby and Vincent have become my new family. I love talking to them. And it's great to be able to share this time because everything that you talked about, you preached. So when I wanted to talk about having a college coach on the air with us today, talking about the new norm and what it's like dealing with the COVID virus in these times as a college coach, I couldn't think anybody better than for you to be the first one to come on and let's just roll our sleeves up and laugh and talk and let these viewers know that we are real men who go through real life situations like everybody else. Thank you for being with us.
Amen, bro. Love you, man. Amen.
Brother Butler, your final word.
And Coach, I just want to thank you. You remind me so much of my second father. And my second father is a guy by the name of Bobby Bowden. And when you start talking about faith, family, and football, he epitomized that. And the thing I loved about him, because of his faith and his belief, he really took care of his kids. He taught all of his kids, and even when he recruited all of us, Coach, he said, I'm going to treat you, and he would tell our parents, I'm going to treat your son just like he was my own son. And just sitting here on this computer, I sense that from you, right? That you love your kids, you're going to take care of them, you're going to make them honorable men, you're going to push them, and you're going to have great success in anything you do because you're keeping faith first.
Yes, sir.
The Bible says this: if you seek me first and my righteousness, all things will be added unto you.
Amen.
I just want to applaud you. Hats off to you. Look forward to seeing what you're going to do in the near future.
Thanks, Bobby. Appreciate
Amen.
it.
Amen.
Well, Coach, I don't have to say no more, man. I'm proud that you're a Sigma man. You're a class act. When I think about college coaches, to me, I'm going to put you in the category of the great young man at Grambling University, Eddie Robinson. The young man that's at Tennessee State, John Meredith. A young man that just died that's from my hometown, Memphis, Tennessee, Mario Kasem, who was at Alcorn State for some years. And you, to me, is old school. You was born in October 1960. I was born in July 1960. And all I'm going to say is this. When I hear your name from here on out, it's royalty and respect. And I'm going to think on the song of Lakeside. You all the way live, man. And much love and respect for you up there. And go blue. The blue and white.
Go blue.
It's not about the alphas. It's not about the kappas. It's about that blue and white of Phi Beta Sigma. I love you, man, and God bless.
Hey, can I say one thing too? Final word?
Yes, sir.
Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron, so as one man sharpens another. If you think about two swords, you got to make contact to sharpen another sword. That contact is having a relationship with other people. You can't be talking about what you want to do, who you want to get close with, separate. You got to have contact. So I appreciate you guys, what you're doing for my little brother right there, Kevin Bull Jones. I want, Kevin, if I had time, I would get into the story, but you were late for doing the stretch for my UVA football team. I go in, he's supposed to be starting the stretch. This joke was on his bed with his thumb in his mouth, with his legs up and his butt up in the air, sleeping. I'm like, Kev, what's up, man? And he gets up, but I got to give it to him. He ran out. He ran out. I think he had to go back and put some drawers on or something. But he ran out and he did he led the exercise like he didn't miss a beat.
Oh, I love it.
I'll never forget that. It was one of the funniest things that ever happened with that. That's my little brother right there, Kevin Jones. But thank you guys for having me on. God bless you for what you do and continue good work on. And I'm going to be an avid listener now, a watcher of this program as well, for sure.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, bro. Thank you, Mike.
Wonderful day. Right. Good luck to Wham and Mary.